Hello and welcome. This is Kingsgate Technologies. I want to do a demo on how our accounting system works. That is the school accounting system. And this is a system registered to Rari Boys High School, who is one of our clients. And it is purely used for demonstration. Now, we would want to see what happens or how we go about our accounting system. Now we realize we have four menus above here. We have registration, we have transaction, we have utilities, and we have reports. Now our system is user friendly. You are able to go through the system without much difficulties. So we have registration, we have transaction, utilities, and reports. All we need to ask ourselves when we want to undertake a task: where is this task found? Is it in registration? Is it in transaction? Is it in utilities? Utilities, we can also call it settings, maybe. Or is it in reports? Now we start with registration. This is where we register the name of your school. We are able to register the streams. The student registration is done here. This is an example. These are students that are registered: admission number, name, KCPE, gender, house, or is it boarding or day, about the phone number for the parent. And if we want to discontinue a student, we just say stop, and that student will not exit the system, but be stopped from affecting the reports of the system. So it's like he has been frozen. We will not be able to see his balance when we are looking at that class balance, and so on and so forth. So we look at registration, all the things that are supposed to be registered here: the vote heads, boarding fee structure, day fee structure. So there is no worry. If some of the students are in boarding and others are in day, they are going to be charged differently. This is where we enter the bank accounts. This is where we register the payment types. Are they paying through cash or money order or in kind or bank slip or M-Pesa? All those things are provided there. From there we go to transaction. This is where all the transactions happen, and before we do that, we update the balance when we are starting to use the system, so that from there the balances would be automatically updated even after we switch from one year to another. They will go with their balances and charged also for the new year they have joined. So we update the fee balances, arrears, and extra charges. For example, a student has broken a burette and you want to charge them, you're able to charge them through the system and it will be added to their balance. We have fees receipting point. This is where we receipt. After they come with the payment evidence, we come and enter their admission number. For example, 2411. And when we press enter, we will see their balance. Now this individual has arrears of 1200, and this is third term, so his balance here is corresponding to the balance on this other side. We can see this is year amount. This is year amount. If you follow the cursor, this is this term fees. The term, we are in that term, so for this term he is supposed to be charged this much. This is this term fees plus his balance, and from there we get this total, and this is what we get as the total. So that is how we go about it. And now we enter the amount they have paid. Say they have paid 10,000, just an example, and they have paid through pay bill, for example, and they have paid to which account? maybe the tuition account, or you can have here different types of accounts. You can even say equity or KCB or whatever thing you want to have here. So this is just an example of a school that uses boarding account, tuition account, operations account, infrastructure, salaries, and bus account. So they have paid to boarding account, for example, and we want to print that receipt. We will place F10 on our keyboard, and it will ask you, do you want to post this transaction? So we just say yes, and even before we exit, we can see the balance has changed. Let us look at the balance for that individual. Remember, he has said he has paid 10,000. His balance was 49,000. Now it is 39,000. So it is that easy. He comes again and pays 5,000, for example, and this time he pays through a check, maybe to the same account, maybe, and we press F10 to post that transaction. Now when you post the transaction and your computer is connected to a printer, then that printer prints that receipt immediately. You only need to sign or stamp the receipt and issue it out. So the balance for this individual, even before we post the transaction, has reduced to 34,650 from 39. So it is reducing immediately. Now we want to assume that now this individual has lost the receipt, or a parent has come and wants to see how he has been paying. You just come here, look at the installments. If you enter the admission number and press OK, you'll see that he paid receipt number 38,795 on this date, and he paid through paybill. The first one was through paybill, and the reference is paybill. It is term 3, and this is 10,000, and he also paid 5,000 on the same date. The final account is here. Total paid 15,000. This term fees balance is 34,650, and the year fees balance is 34,650. So if we were in term 2, the term balance would not correlate with the year balance. Now that we are in that term, then the balance is the same as the term balance. So this report again is printable. You can print this report to the parents, and he goes with it. If he wants to present it to the CDF office for funding, he is able to do that, and even show evidence of the previous finances he has been getting and paying to the school. Now after doing that, we also do payment vouchers through the system. We have a place for other incomes, so that means we are able to do all the mathematics through the system. Now on utilities, this is where you can actually back up the system. You can promote our students. You don't have to call us when the year ends. You just promote the students by yourself. Now you can set the current term and year. You can reprint a receipt. A parent comes and you want to reprint a receipt for them. Maybe they did not receive the last receipt from the student, and they come and they want a reprint of the receipt. You are able to reprint that receipt having the same receipt number, and it requires that it has a place for a stamp to authenticate that receipt, so that it doesn't appear like it's two receipts. So you are able to reprint the receipt. You are able to delete a receipt. Maybe you have then done an error in receipting, you can delete that receipt comfortably. You can also delete or reprint a payment voucher. You can start the receipt number. You can set the receipt number where you want to start from. You can refund, you can transfer funds, sorry, from a student to another. If, say for example, a parent has two students and one has some overpayment of 5,000 and the other one has a balance, you are able to transfer funds from one student to another. Now you can assign students specific votes. If a student does not pay for a certain thing, but this is common with private schools, a student does not benefit from transport, you can unassign that student so that they are not charged for transport or anything else, so that their charge is lesser than the others. Or you can create a different vote that comes up and you are able to charge specific students. Say for example, a scenario where some boys were stealing clothes, the uniform from the store, and so they needed to be charged for that. There were many boys who are doing that, so a vote is created, a vote was created. This is a real story. A vote was created here, a vote head, and then it was charged in the fee structure. It was charged 10,000. You come here and enter the figure for whatever they did. So in our case, they were being charged 10,000, and so you come here and assign the students who had stolen the uniform. You assign them that vote, so that their balance increases by 10,000 because of that newly introduced vote. Now this is where most of teachers have interest on the report. We can have a report, students list per form. You are able to get the student list, or what you would call the class list. We have school fees balances. Let us first of all go this direction, and you are able to see all the year brought forward balances. You are able to see the total vote head balance. You can see form vote head balance. You can actually see fees paid per vote per account. For example, how much do we have in the boarding account? How much do we have in lunch, for example, or BES or PE? You are able to see how much you have corrected for a certain vote. You can also see fees prepaid per vote per account monthly. That is, for example, how much of overpayment do we have on the boarding vote head, the prepaid? How much do we have on BES, for example, or EWC on in a month? How much of overpayment do we have? We can also see fees paid per vote per account termly, so that when we are switching the terms, we know we have an excess of this much in this vote, so that we are able to plan. We can see vote amount analysis. How much do we have in every vote? How much have we received, and what is the balance? How much of boarding fees has not been paid? How much of personal emolument has not been paid, and how much have we received for planning purposes? We can see the trial balance. We have a trial balance here. We have termly cumulative balance. For example, from 1 East, how much haven't they paid, and so on and so forth. We can have the audit trial here. We have that report. We can view receipt in range. For example, you are looking for a certain receipt, maybe there is a complaint, and you know that receipt was between receipt number 100 and 120. You are able to see all those receipts all on a specific day, so that you are able to locate a certain receipt and see what happened. We can have We have a report on vote heads, all the vote heads that have been registered. We have the fee structure. We can print the report of the fee structure and how it looks. We have this is fee structure per student. If you want to, when you're sending them home during the holiday, they can go with the fee structure so that the parent is prepared on what they expect. We have also the fee structure, the normal fee structure, and it can be printed from there. Now this is SMS fee balance. Actually, you are able to send a message home for a specific student with the specific information from that student. An example: dear parent, John Kamau of admission number 2324 has a balance of 5,000 and should be paid by 20th September. Thank you, and this is Rari Boys High School. Such a message can be sent from the system to the parent. So communications become easy when you are using the system. We can have mini statements, termly balance. We have term mini statement slip. When you are sending them home, you send them with slips, and it explains everything on what the school requires from the parents. We have students' fees statement of account, so that as they go home, for example, maybe we can have a look at this and see how it looks. Now this is the statement of accounts for a specific student and how they have performed, the money that they have paid, the total amount of money they have paid in that term. So when you are sending them, if some of them received money from their parents to come and pay, they will have to account for it. Now let us also look at the mini statement and see how it looks. This is the mini statement. Now it is saying, this mini statement, that the fees balance for Mwanwa Dichu Nyiro is 15,000, and this is Form 1 blue. So you only need to print this report and give them as they go home, and the parent knows what is expected of him or her. It is a tedious process to prepare balances, especially when you don't have such a system. So with the system, it becomes very easy to do such tasks. Now we continue with the reports. We have fees collected per student. You can actually see the fees that have been collected per student. We can see term fees balance per student. We have term fees balance for all the students. We have year fees balance per student. So you only need to go to the report and see every student with their balance, yearly or termly. We have year fees balance for all. Now this is not per student, it is all of them. Now we have term fees prepaid. We can see a report on the prepayments of all the students, what have been prepaid in what vote. Now we can see year fees prepaid. This is it here. We have year fees prepaid. So when you're closing the year, we know we have some overpayment of this much for the next year. We have fees balance summary. It will do summary for you. We have balances in range. For example, you want to send students home because they have huge arrears, but you only want to send a specific number of students depending on their balances. So you'll come and enter the amount you want to send home. Maybe, for example, from 5,000 and above, or from 2,000 and above. Anyone who has 2,000 and above, you want to send them home. So you'll be able to print that and send them home and leave those that have less balances. We have data correction summary. Teachers our principals want to see the monthly collection summary, and so that is possible through the system. We have monthly correction summary, and from there we have our cash books. We have the cash book receipts, we have cash book payments, we have payment vouchers per month, and then a report on the other incomes, even as you also look at the fees register. So that is how our system works. Thank you for following through.